Jack Kerouac typed the first draft of On the Road in 3 weeks, but it's taken 60 years to fashion his masterpiece into a film. Set to come out by the end of the year, the movie will feature up-and-comers Sam Riley and Garrett Hedlund as the rambling alter egos of Kerouac and Neal Cassady, the Pied Piper of the Beat generation.
My father Neal named me for his two best friends in 1951. That dates me. Mm-hmm. And he named me after his friend Jack Kerouac and his friend Allen Ginsberg. But on the birth certificate, it says John Allen Cassady. You know, Jack, John, you know. And my mom, I asked my mom, and she said, well, I asked your father soon after you arrived the same question. And he goes, well, if you say it fast, it sounds like Jack Cassady. And nobody's going to call my son a jackass all his life. So I changed it to John, you know, and resolved whatever.
On the Road is the story of these two young guys. Jack Kerouac is on the right, Neal Cassady's on the left. And Kerouac wrote the book. Neal was kind of the muse. The main character, Neal Cassady, the guy on the left, a real guy, later went on to become the guy who drove this psychedelic school bus for Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters. Now, this is the acid test of the early 1960s. Acid was legal here in the U.S. until 1966, so they weren't breaking the law. And basically, this is what ushered in the whole era of the psychedelic revolution. And so Neal Cassady, who's a guy you've probably never heard of, literally ushered in two major social movements. He drove us out of the black and white 50s into the psychedelic 60s.
Listen, boy, you're in South Carolina.
I mean, I love Tom Wolfe's work, don't get me wrong. It's just that Jack really captured him in his prime. And one of my favorite scenes is here in New York where Neal's working as the parking lot attendant, you know, in the theater district, where people would drop off their car, go to the theater, and come back and pick it up. Jack would just be standing there watching, you know, work there, waiting to go somewhere. And he goes, well, Dean in the book, Dean Murray, Dean would race up to the next car, jump in before the guy's even out of his seat, you know, slide in behind him.
Hand a ticket, leap into a newly arrived car before the owner's half out, leaping literally underneath him as he steps out. Start the car with a flapping and roar off to the next available spot. Arc, pop, in, brake, out, run, working like that without pause 8 hours a day. Evening rush hours and after theater rush hours and greasy wino pants with frayed fur-lined jacket and beach shoes that flap.
Kerouac's novel Big Sur is also slated to hit the big screen. A documentary covering Neal Cassady's magic trip with the Merry Pranksters comes out in August. Another doc exploring the love triangle he had with his wife and Jack Kerouac premiered at this year's Tribeca Film Festival. Back in '59, jazzman David Amram composed the score for Pull My Daisy, the original beat movie Kerouac narrated himself. He predicts his iconic friends will inspire a new generation to kick up dust in the American night.
And then, of course, if young folks read the book and say, boy, that's great, I want to get that book. When they read the book, they won't be disappointed.
Because the only people that interest me are the mad ones. The ones who are mad to live. Mad to talk, mad to be saved. The vivaciousness of New York was really important to like what they were about as well, because they explored all of this kind of landscape of America, but yet they have that like the energy of the city as well, and that's where all the artists were, that's where the writers were, that's where the history and the bohemian culture, you know, there was a strong bohemian culture that they, I'm sure, were aware of, being voracious readers. I mean, tracing their connection back to Whitman.
And on the road, Neal Cassady is portrayed as a wanderer in a western suit, a holy con man hunched over the wheel of a '49 Hudson. But John Cassady remembers his old man as a family guy.
Specific dates, I to this day get old parts going oh no, he was with us in Berkeley that weekend. Oh no, he was with us in LA that weekend. Well, I hate to disappoint you guys, but he was with me at home running foot races in the back lawn, or teaching me chess or something. In other words, he was everywhere at once. I'm convinced he had 4 or 5 clones, because everybody's got a story.
Aha! Woo! Dean said he was rubbing his chest, his belly, the sweat splashed from his face.